We'll do an unboxing and review of the GravGrip battery-free camera stabilizer today on My Favorite Things. Whether you backed it on Kickstarter or Indigo or have since purchased it outright, you know that the GravGrip battery-free camera stabilizer is technically not a gimbal, but it is a device that may give us a smoother picture when we're trying to move about with our action cam, our iPhone, and maybe even with our Mevo Start. The GravGrip does not rely on the magic of accelerometers or gyrometers or electricity even. Its magic lies in its hydraulic damper. It's a single axis that can be configured for either tilt axis or roll axis. It's going to come with both an action cam mount as well as a mount for your mobile device, such as your iPhone or your Android. It has these counterweights that screw onto the bottom or top, if you mount it in that direction, end of the counterweight screw, and that counterweight screw itself can be tilted in any direction in order to achieve a better balance for your streaming device. There's the action cam mount. It's a GoPro style is what most folks call this. 1/4 on the bottom. And then the device itself. You see the one arm. You can see the hydraulics in action right here as it slowly creeps back toward its downward position when you lift it up and let it go. Of course, with more weight on top or on bottom, closer to or further away the center point of that axis, you'll get a quicker, I guess you could even get a slower return to center. And that's where they say their stabilization comes from. Now, the videos I've seen to promote the GravGrip always has someone either on a skateboard or a bicycle. So they seem to intend for you to be rolling as you're using this. Some of the questions on those same videos have been, but what does it do when you walk? And that's where I'm going to focus my test today. How does this camera stabilizer handle just walking, moving down a hallway or through a crowd if you want to take some video of what's happening in life? You can see that the counterbalance weights do drastically affect how quickly the axis returns to center. And depending on which device you're using, you may want the counterbalance weights on the top or the bottom. Here we've repositioned them to the top. And this seems to be a good way to mount for my GoPro. So let's mount a device and test this. The first test we'll run is with my GoPro. It is an older Hero 3 Plus Black. It does not have electronic image stabilization. And you can see as I'm walking between the pews of my church to give a little bit of perspective and to see things close to the side on either side, you can tell I am walking and it does bounce. Now it keeps a decent horizontal top and bottom. It's only got one axis. It should. It does not take the bounce out of walking with this device mounted on a selfie stick and in the tilt position. In the roll position. The next device I tested was my iPhone using the front-facing camera. Now, I'm trying this on the tilt position, on the tilt axis, just moving it side by side and letting it recorrect to horizontal. In the user guide that GravGrip put up on YouTube, their recommendation is trial and error. Keep trying different positions for the counterbalances. Keep trying different distances away from center point of your axis. And then once you find what works best for you with your device, they actually suggest taking a picture of it so that if you change devices, you can go right back to where you were. Here's that same walking test with the front-facing iPhone camera, walking the length of our auditorium. So you can see with an iPhone front-facing camera here, it still does show quite a bit of balance. Now I've got the camera positioned low, kind of down by my knee. I bring it up high for the trip back on this one. And either way, with each step, you can see that vibration that is, even though my arm takes up some of that, even though the stabilizer takes up some of it, you can still see that vibration that happens with every step. The last test I did was with the iPhone's rear-facing camera that does have image stabilization built in. And you can see it is much smoother as I walk. There's still a little bit of a wiggle there, but for the most part, this is what they're talking about. And in that same user guide, they tell you this device will rely on your cameras, your device's image stabilization feature to be as effective as it needs to be. I've mounted the Mevo Start to the GravGrip. The Mevo Start does have electronic image stabilization, and the hydraulic damper in the GravGrip is slowing its motion down very nicely the way it's mounted here. I do want you to hear one thing though. The plate that covers the gear, see if I can show that a little better, that covers the gear inside where the hydraulic damper is just loose enough that it makes a clicking noise when it changes directions. I thought at first maybe it was my monopod. I thought it may be another piece of what I've got here in my hand, but as best I can tell, and I've verified, it is that one piece that is clicking, so it's just a little bit loose. I'll put something in there if I continue to use this. But we'll do the same test on this setup as we did on the other cameras. Whether the GravGrip battery-free camera stabilizer is right for you or not is ultimately your call. A lot of it will depend on if your camera, your device, has image stabilization built in. I can tell you what is right for you, though. Watch this video and check out this review of the PivoPod Silver. It might be the perfect addition to your live streaming setup.